Hey guys, welcome to the tutorial on the Brandenburg excerpt for chamber. Please remember that for the chamber audition you have to play both the momentum excerpt and the chamber excerpt, so you need to play both excerpts. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not the best violist. I have been practicing, but it's not going to sound as polished as if I was playing the violin excerpt. So I don't know if I'll do a full run through, but I'm definitely going to break it up into chunks for you guys. So the main goal of this video is kind of give you some practice tips on how you can practice and how you can improve this excerpt. Like a lot of the, all the excerpts for chamber, these are grade 6 excerpts. And you're not going to be able to get it in one sitting or like in just an hour. You're going to have to do repetitive stuff, so practicing just a little bit every day if you're really trying to get this up to tempo with good intonation, good rhythm, good articulation, good musicality. So I'm just kind of start and just kind of hit every measure and give you some kind of practice tips. So we're going to start at the beginning. It starts at measure 27. When you're doing these eighth notes, you need to have kind of a lighter stroke. So instead of playing them really heavy, like, try to have a faster, lighter bow, so you're not using as much weight. Then when we get to these 16th notes, they should be a little bit more on the string. So they contrast. So let's talk about measure 829. The first thing is for that tied note on that, on that D. You have to be subdividing your head. You gotta be going 1, 2, 3, ta 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 da dum. If you're just kind of going da 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 dum dum ba da dum dum da 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 dum, you're not gonna be able to get off that tie at the correct rhythm. So if I'm thinking here, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's where you need to be thinking in your head. You have to subdivide that dotted chord note into its subdivision, which is 3 eighth notes. Da 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 dum dum ba da dum ba ba da 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 dum. So when you're here, make sure you get to a good F sharp. So starting at measure 28, that's a good high third finger, right? You're in the major finger pattern. Then you have to go to another C sharp, which is high third finger. Now, in beat 2 of measure 29 on that D sharp, I recommend you go to half position. So you start measure 29 in first position. Now here, shift to a 1. Instead of going back to a 1, stay in half position. Play 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Now that C sharp was normally high third finger. We play it as a 4 finger. Then play that as B as a 3. So I recommend doing that, especially because when it's going so fast. It's going to be hard and it's going to sound not as articulate if you slide. So this is half position here. This is with the 1-1 slide. It's a little harder to go from 1 also to low 3. 1 to 4 for that C sharp is not as a strain on your hand. Now there are different ways to get out of half position. So starting on the second line, you start the B, which is normally 2. It's gonna be 3. Now over here you can do that E is where you can go back. Low 1, 1. That's one way to do it. You could also stay in half position and use that open A. to shift back. Up to you. They're both a good fingering. I'm staying in half position, so for me, I'm going at the start of line 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, then open A. But you can also go 1, 1. So your choice of how you want to do that. Notice at the start of measure 30, it's subito piano. So you have these here. Make sure you're getting that subito piano. That's one thing. That's going back to those really like. So there, starting at measure 31. Now the next starts immediately subito forte. So you're gonna have to switch gears per se, and how you're playing, how you're adding weight into the string. I'm gonna say that rest. If you wait for that rest, you're going to be You're going to be late. So I'm thinking 1, 2. There's really not a lot of wait time there. Make sure you're getting an F natural. To go from low 2 to 4 is a big stretch, so remember you could always shift your elbow towards the right or towards you. And remember from B to C is you have to cross from the A string to the G string. So making sure you're arching your arms so you're pivoting enough so you can get to the other string. So that section here from the beginning, from 27, kind of sounds like this. 32 where it gets a little harder. Here, there's a lot of string crossing going on, and you have to know kind of what is your right hand doing. I said this a lot in class, and I've said it in the other violin excerpt. It's all about the right hand, knowing what strings. So a good practice tip for how you tackle 32 and 33 is try it with just your open strings. So I'm going to play the first 2 beats of 32. It sounds like this. And to play the open strings, it would just be this. That's all it is. You're just adding some fingers. The next bar, or sorry, the next 2 beats, open strings, it sounds like this. So all of 32 with just your open string sounds like this. And keeping that right hand, if your right hand knows what it's doing, it's going to be a lot easier to add in the left hand. Remember, the right hand is the leader and the left hand follows. So eventually it'll sound nice and articulate. So once again, the practice technique, how to get 32 and 33 is just play these strings you would do, just your open strings. Notice when I started 32, I didn't use a 4th. I'm not using a 4th finger. I'm just using an open D. So that way I'm kind of getting the same string crossing motion. 33, it goes the opposite, right? I really recommend starting at 33, that F natural you play as a 2. Then the B, 3. You're kind of in like in a half position if kind of thing. So low 2 for F natural, 3 for B. So that whole third line should sound like this. Let's look at the 4th line, or measure 34. This is where you're going to get some extended finger patterns. You're actually going to be kind of utilizing this finger pattern, this open finger pattern, at the start of 34. big stretch. Really watch your intonation there. E flat to A. You really have to arc your arm so you can get your intonation where it needs to be. Notice how I'm playing the 16th notes before letter K. And watch what look at how little movement I'm doing with my first and my third finger. If you've looked at this already, you know you're just utilizing first finger and third finger. As much as possible, I'm trying to keep my first finger right in between the D and the A string. And then when I put my third finger down, I'm doing the same thing. So that way I'm not hopping my finger across. I'm kind of landing them in the center. So that way I don't have to, that's one less motion I have to do. And they do throw it in that open A, so just be careful of that. Letter K to the end is all about using this finger pattern. So you're in the Phrygian finger pattern the entire time. But then you also have to utilize your fourth finger. And then this is where, if I'm playing this excerpt, yeah, I'm really, I'm really conscious of my arm. I'm maybe not arcing it so much, but I'm really making sure I'm kind of playing this all in this pattern. So that way I'm not really stretching and extending and my pinky so it can be really in tune. The practice technique I would say for this one here is for letter K to the end is you should be able to hear, if you just take out so no bow at all, just your left hand. You should be able to hear, you should be able to hammer down your fingers without using the way. You should be able to actually be able to hear all the notes. That'll give you, with these 30-second notes, it'll allow you for them to be articulate and to be heard when you're playing the excerpt. So that's kind of the idea for this one. So I'll start at measure 32 and play that one to the end, so you can kind of hear how it sounds. And that's how you play that one. Like I said in the other one, notice there's not a lot of vibrato in this excerpt. You're mainly I'm mainly seeing, can you play at a fast tempo? Can you switch finger patterns? Notice also there's no shifting in this excerpt at all. Everything can be played in first and half position. So hopefully this is pretty helpful in you guys preparing for this excerpt. As always, if you want me to listen to it, you can share it with me on Google Classroom or Drive, and then I can give you some feedback. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys soon.